Hey, we have no power in the neighborhood.
Just relax, you know what to do.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Please support the channel by subscribing. It helps immensely. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for our new videos. Thank you in advance. Welcome to Expedition Lightbulb. We have our first sponsored video by Milwaukee. Yeah, right. There's no way. This is actually going to come from the Friends Network. Thank you, Kermit, for letting us borrow your tools. His call sign is going to be Kermit because he just sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
I get it. It's bad, but it's funny at the same time. And I do truly appreciate him letting us borrow all these Milwaukee products. This usually lives in a shop, and its dual use, of course, is going to be emergency preparedness. We brought out our solar array here to be able to charge it from my right to left, all of the batteries and all of the accessories in case you have a grid down situation. The reason why I am very excited about this is because I brought out my energy, and these batteries actually use the same cells. They're the 18650 and they're made in Korea, meaning they are either LG or Samsung, which these batteries are in here are Samsung. If you look at the teardown videos of these batteries, you can see they're either LG browns or the pink Samsungs. These are the pink Samsungs. You be the judge if they're the same cells. It's just quality. Milwaukee is quality, and so is energy. With that being said, let's get started. I'm going to start charging with the rapid charger. This rapid charger is excellent. It charges at 220 watts sometimes. That's super fast. My rapid charger for Ryobi is 70 and their regular charger is 50 watts. I was blown away by this. This one is going to get charged by my Go Zero. This is 80 watts output. This is going to take 80 watts. The reason why I'm doing this is because these chargers are very gentle. They go up in increments of like 5, which my Ryobi just hits at 80 watts and it trips that Go Zero. And I've actually never done this experiment, so let's see if it trips it out. And they're both charging. You can hear the chargers come on. They sound like when you walk under the power lines, you can actually hear that, which is a con or pro. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Next is going to be this light. This light is super bright. I actually did an experiment with my wife. I turned it on. When she was cooking, she did not notice that that light was on. And I turned off the main lights, and she did that for about 2 hours, and I did not notice the wife alarm going, why is the light on? Why is this light on? I don't like it. It passed with flying colors. This fan is super efficient. I mean, super efficient. It took me about 2 days to wear this 12 amp battery down. It is excellent. The only cons that I have about the fan is that it's heavy. It's 6.8 pounds, meaning that's like an AR rifle, right? Or an M16. It weighs a lot. Now, it is, to me, very light, but for some people that might be a deal breaker, just because when you couple this up with this big battery, it becomes 10 pounds. But super efficient. And the last thing, just to make you guys smile, this thing looked like it just came from the 80s. I don't understand it. It has dials on there. I've never seen dials before. And it looked like it just came from Back to the Future. But would I buy it? Oh yeah. It's super efficient. It shoots a cone of fire that is straightforward instead of wide. So you can actually feel this across the house. Like 40 feet is what they say, but you can still feel it on low. You can still feel the wind coming to you. So it's very hard to try to compare my Ryobi battery to this because it is so efficient and it just pushes a lot of good air. And this light is super warm. The other thing that I forgot to say is that when you touch this, even with about 10 hours of it being on, and if I can place my hand here, it actually doesn't burn my hand. It is warm and you want to take your arm out, but it will not burn you. That is really excellent, especially for emergency preparedness. When you have your main room lit up and you actually accidentally touch this instead of this, it will not burn you. These LEDs are very efficient and very cool to the touch. We're going to do a demonstration and function check on the light and the fan itself. You're going to insert the M18 battery in the back, and it just slides in, and you're going to hear a positive click. And the power is here, and the mode is on top of it too. And it should come on bright. This is so bright, I'm seeing stars. Okay. This is a warm yellow light, which I prefer. I don't like the white light. This to me is just a preference, but I do really love that yellow light. Then you got medium and low, back to high. This is so efficient. I know I keep saying that. And even though I just turned this on, this is some of your LEDs, especially the Surefires, it has a hot symbol on there, like you can burn yourself. I've kept this on for hours upon hours, and I'm able to just touch it, which is very, very good and efficient LEDs. Okay, to take away the M18 battery, or to take out the M18 battery, you just push these two buttons and pull it out. Now, our Back to the Future fan. Insert it, you're going to hear the same clicks. On low, this thing is very efficient. As you can hear, it has a whine to it. Some people prefer that little whine because it's white noise to them. If this was my only fan, I wouldn't mind it at all. But my Ryobi fan, my General Ryobi, I love that thing because it's quiet. Now, does it push the same amount of air? There's no way. This is king right here. But at the same time, it's half the price. The clicks on this are very positive. It is like a high-end scope, which the turret is very positive and clicky. That is quality too. Now, this can also face all the way up to the sky, and it can point downwards too. To me, the downwards is very positive, just because if you're trying to dry something, you want it pointing to the ground. Both of these have little cross hooks, not hooks, but inserts here, so where you can put the drywall screw if you're trying to mount it onto a wall, and then you're able to point this fan where you want, or the light. So overall, these are very good units. They are also hybrid units, so you can plug in your regular wall outlet and a wall wart to this fan. Now, one thing that I failed to mention was why I have this. This is a representation of having a radio. We just don't have a Milwaukee radio. But the Milwaukee radios are so expensive that I just stopped looking at them because they're at $149. These units are very expensive, but very good quality. I just don't see myself spending $139 on a radio, but that's up to you. The other positive thing that we've done too is that this Goal Zero and this regular charger from Milwaukee, we've had it on for about 20 minutes now. It has not tripped it. So I really love this regular charger of theirs. And the reason why is that it ramps up very slowly. This inverter is very finicky. My Ryobi charger goes from 35 to 70 and it will actually trip the inverter. This one is 80 watts, but it goes in increments. So it goes from 20, 30, 40, and then all the way up to 80, and it hasn't tripped it. So this is quality tools, and I actually love that. The rapid charger even does that too. It goes from like 50, 60, all the way up to 220 watts. That is absolutely a rapid charger. That is considered a supercharger for Ryobi. Excellent, excellent. This 216 watt battery, this 12 amp battery, will be done in about, let's say, more than 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. It will be done. That's excellent, especially if you guys are doing rolling blackouts like they do in California. This is really awesome. This is a preview of our car setup. What we're going to do here is charge our tool batteries using the truck's alternator. This will be used if you're going to work. If you are at a grid down situation and you're very desperate, just make sure that you're well ventilated. You hear of those deaths every year. They try to warm themselves up. You can charge your batteries in this, but at the same time, just make sure you're very well ventilated. Or if you have a long road trip, you can charge these batteries. We use this on our vacations. The first thing that you're going to do is going to need a inverter itself. This changes it from DC power. DC power is going to be battery power to alternate current, which is what you use for house power. And of course, this is alternate current. I'm going to put a kilowatt here just to show how slow it ramps up. I'm going to turn on the truck first, and then I'm going to set this up. It probably doesn't matter, but I don't want to overtax my truck in the beginning. Okay, I'm going to plug in the inverter, and then I'm going to put the 2 amp on, and it starts to charge. The beauty about this charger is it ramps up. It doesn't go to 70 to 80 right away. Right now, it's at 40, 50, 60, and 65. On your vehicle, the cigarette lighter usually says how many watts it can push out. The Tundra can push out 120. Right now, we're doing around 65 watts, meaning that it's not overtaxing the alternator. If you put the rapid charger on here, it will take 220 watts, meaning that your alternator cannot create that much energy. So your battery is going to compensate for it. And you will end up with a dead battery. So please make sure that you're under specs and that you are able to be covered by your alternator, or else you will end up with a dead battery. All right, let's turn on the floodlight. That is high. It's so high I can't even look at it. And this is industry standard for me, are these Milwaukee lights. Just the reputation alone. So this is on low. This is on high. It seems like it's high. Medium, low. And there's high again. I like this because it will light up the room. You don't have to shine it at people's eyes. You could just reflect it off of the wall and out. This is very bright, and we actually thought about getting the lights for our studio / kitchen. Next is going to be the running watts for the floodlight. If you have trust issues because you cannot see the floodlight, go ahead and fast forward. There's just no way to do this and the floodlight at the same time. This is going to be on high, and it's going to read about 41 watts, 40.6, around 41. This is on medium, and it's 19.8, so around 20 watts. That's pretty good. And here is low, 12.2 watts. That is pretty good. All right, and here's high again, 40.6, 40.7, so around 41 watts. We'll just round up. Medium again, 19.7, 19.8, so 20 watts, round up again. And on low, 12.2, 12.1, so 13 watts. Very efficient, very good. Next is going to be the running watts on the fan. Level 1. 5 watts. No way. So the Ryobi fan is around 7 watts, and I thought that was efficient. 5 watts, that is tremendous. And this pushes out twice the amount of air on the Ryobi. That is incredible. If you can hear that whine, 5 watts. Very good. 10.5 watts. That's outstanding. This is by far a better fan than the Ryobi. And then here you go, level 3. $23.5. 23.5. That is outstanding. The high on the Ryobi is around 37 watts, and there's no way it pushes out that much air. Now, it does sound like a vacuum by the time it gets to level 3, but 1 is quiet, 2 is manageable, and then 3, it's just too loud. And we are running off of the hybrid right now. That's how I can get the wattage. So awesome. This is awesome. This is really nice. Okay, the top off. This is going to be an inverter. Number 1 warning is going to be that this is modified sine wave. As you can see here, they're going to be using it for your computer and laptop. I'm going to tell you right now, I was at the Genius bar feeling not like a genius because I was using modified sine wave and it tripped my computer. So please don't do that. Tablets, phones, if you're going through the USB, this is where it's a winner. If you press this button right here, it will activate these USB-C and a USB-A port. That is excellent because that's DC to DC power. This is what I'm warning you about. This is modified sine wave here. At this price, this is very good. I will actually tell Kermit to get this because this is a really good unit. With the Ryobi, you have when you activate the inverter, it activates everything. That means you have a loss of power. This one, if you just activate this part right here, that's excellent. I have not seen an inverter do that. I just wish they would have made this into a pure sine wave. That would have been excellent. The M18 work light. This is going to be a flashlight. It's at 100 watts and a very good price at $59.99. Of course, lifetime warranty and that Milwaukee toughness. I like this light because it reminds me of a crook neck flashlight that will go all the way 90 and all the way north. That's pretty cool. The only con that I have is it can't point down. So if you need to work on something on the ground, it won't shine the light. And the throw on this is pretty good because it's a flashlight. This is a must-have. And finally, the radio. I cannot bring myself to recommend any of these Milwaukee radios just because they're so expensive. Just get a dedicated NOAA radio that has AA's that can run on rechargeables or lithium. This is an M12 battery versus the M18. This is probably the only one that I would recommend because of the price, but it's a different battery. But if you already have it, I would go for this one. The rest of them, man, they're just too expensive. The ratings are low. Just go with a dedicated radio. This tool right here gets me excited. This is the Milwaukee power source. As you can see here, there is actually a USB port, one USB. So in a time of calamity, you guys can use this to power up your phones or the LED lights that you guys have. At $29, this is the minimum I would suggest that you guys have. And check this out. Look how flush this is. You can't even tell that it's on the battery. And where my cross is, if you have a heated jacket from Milwaukee, this will actually port into that. And you can use this as a power source. But guys, this is an excellent tool, minimum what you need for emergency preparedness, $29. The price. This is actually a complaint that Kermit had. At $99, it is very expensive for a fan, but it is actually a very good, efficient tool. At $99, I can actually buy 2 of these Ryobi fans. I'm going to coin these General Ryobi. There is a family that follows us on a regular basis, and to put a smile on their kids' faces, that's what I'm going to call them because that's what they call them. These are $49.99, but these two push out about the same air as this. This is very quiet, which leads me to my next con is that this has a high pitch. And every time it's quiet in the room, I can hear that high pitch and I'm looking around to see what's wrong. And it's just the motor running. It is really nice white noise if you like that kind of pitch, but to me, it just kind of reminds me of like your ex-girlfriend having that high pitch. I would rather have my ex-girlfriend who has a medium pitch screaming at me versus the high pitch. And the last complaint is going to be where it's made. At $100, I was hoping that it was going to be made in the USA. It is not. This is actually made in China, but they do have plants here in Milwaukee and they do have plants in Europe. But I was hoping that it would be made in America. That's how we say it in the South, America. All right, that's it for the cons. The number one thing that sticks out with me with these Milwaukee tools are the quality. These are contractor grade, industry leading tools. They are built like a tank and they will last forever. Anne thinks that these are aesthetically pleasing and I agree with her. This red stands out and they're beautiful. My light bulb moment came when I first used those chargers. That was my first exposure to Milwaukee. My Goal Zero, which is very finicky with the inverter, it ramped it up from 0 to 80 and it charged it. It did not trip, which is very good quality. The rapid charger, it charges at 220 watts. That is excellent. So if you're in a rolling blackout, you can charge your batteries very quickly. In conclusion, Milwaukee has a lot of tools for emergency preparedness. Assessing Kermit's inventory here, all he needs to do is add an inverter, that top-off inverter, and the flashlights, and he will have a better system than me. If you are married into this M18 family, you have a really good system to build on. So use those ghost batteries, and please take care of yourself and others.
Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.